Hey guys, Jinx here, and today we're gonna be building a budget custom keyboard. This is my first ever build, so bear with me. Before I get into this build though, I wanna give a huge shout out to Homogeneo for being the inspiration for this video. Now let's get right into the build. Starting off, I'm using the GK64X case and PCB kit, which is a great budget option. Then, moving on to the DSA blank black keycaps from KBD Fans. Then the butter on a budget, gateron milky yellows, which I will be lubing with Cartox 2.5 grade 0, and of course, a lubing station just to make things a little bit easier. So the case comes pre-assembled and it was about $70. It's plastic, and though it does sound a bit hollow, for its budget price, what you pay for is what you get. But that's nothing some modding won't fix, right? First off, I'm gonna be taking the case apart since I will be clipping and lubing the stabilizers, and of course putting foam inside the case so it'll help with the hollowness of the board. Because I was a noob, and this was my first time clipping stabilizers, I had trouble with it, but watching some Teletypes videos and all that, I figured out quickly. Then I started to lube the stabilizers, and since I didn't have dielectric grease, I used Cartox 2.5 grade 0. When dealing with the inner housing, I used a light amount of lube trying to reduce as much rattle and scratchiness as possible. But with the stabilizer wire, I used quite a generous amount, making sure to lube all points of contact and spread the lube evenly around the wire. After all of that, it's time to put the stabilizers back together and attach them back on the plate. And by now, there should be a very big difference without a stabilizer sound. There should be a lot less rattle and a lot less ping noises when pressing on the keys. Moving on, I'm going to be putting some shelf liner on this keyboard just to add more sound dampening material to it. I put a few layers and cut them up to fit the molding of the case. It took a while, but it was definitely worth it in the end. It made the board sound a lot deeper and richer in my opinion. Next, I'll be focusing on lubing the switches. These gateron milky yellows are a perfect option for people looking for a budget linear, and I'll be using some Cartox 2.5 grade 0 to lube them, of course. Lubing these were such a pain, but I found that watching anime or listening to music made the process a little less depressing. Now we're practically done with the build, so we just gotta put it all together. And that's it. That's the build. A great budget option and a gateway for people like me who are just starting off in the mechanical keyboard community. I definitely love this build. I love how it turned out. The switches feel really smooth after lubing them, and the stabilizer's ping is barely even noticeable for me. Plus, I love the thockier sound it makes. I'm really excited to make more builds in the future because I really found the process enjoyable. So anyways, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And here's a sound test comparing my old Ant Pro 2 to my new build right here.